Hi everybody, this is Jan Stringer and welcome to our Friday Zoom-i-nar. And today is a fun day for me. Fridays are usually my play day. So you know what that means is that if I'm usually playing on Friday, that means our call needs to be playful. So I hope you're ready to play a little bit, and I see lots of people are signing on, and I've got all the lines muted right now, but I'll open them in just a minute so that you can share what got you here today. So be thinking about what that is. Hi, Patch. I see you're dialing in. It's good to connect with you again. Anyway, our focus today, actually the focus this week for the Zoom-i-nar that we did on Wednesday and again today is how I harness the law of attraction in business, and also about the SACAT program. The SACAT is kind of like the solution that I came up with to harness the law of attraction in business. So last Wednesday, just two days ago, we did a 4-square SAP, which is short for Strategic Attraction Plan. And on the back, we wrote some, the 5th step, which is not in either one of the books, by the way. So we went through all 4 steps. I'm going to just run through those super fast because you can listen to the video. And that's in the Facebook group. So if you haven't signed up for that, I'm going to put that in the chat room in just a minute. So we do have, it's called SACAT Live. It's in the emails, the link. Hi, Guy. Good to see you. Anyway, I'm going to post all the recordings for these calls there rather than trying to email all that out all the time. And it's a good place to interact. So if you see something in the video that you're watching and you want to comment or ask a question, that's what it's there for. All right, so I see Guy is getting visual, and maybe some other people will too. All right. Well, Guy, would you like to say hello and what got you here? Are you ready to land yet? You're on mute. Let me unmute you. There, now you're unmuted.
Hi, Jan. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too.
Great. Okay. Well, as you know, I'm familiar with the Strategic Attraction Plan, but it's always nice to get reacquainted and
yes.
get back on the wagon because I'm off the wagon.
Yes.
And I have something particular that I'm working on. I want to attract more clients for my intuitive guidance and healing sessions.
Oh, good, 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 good. I'm glad that you're following that passion of yours, and I want to learn more about it. So good. So thanks for being here today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
All right. And anybody else, what attracted you to be here today, and maybe something you would like to get out of today's call, if you would share that? Anybody? Come on, I'm very informal, but I got to have some participation from you to do it. I'm not a real informational kind of a call. I'm like more of an interactive. So what got you here? Anybody? Just, oh, maybe I need to unmute everybody. That would help, huh? Okay, I'm unmuting everyone. All right, you're unmuted. What got you here? Who would go first after Guy? Okay, a quiet group today. All right. Well, if you want to speak, just go ahead and unmute yourself, but I'm going to go ahead and mute the lines for the moment. Okay. Sorry about all that technical stuff. All right. Well, as I mentioned just a moment ago, we were having that this week. The general theme is how I harness the law of attraction in business, and also how the Strategic Attraction Plan is the solution for getting your arms wrapped around that big concept called law of attraction. And we'll go over that in a little bit. And in fact, I'm going to just do that right now. People are quiet, they're gathering in. Maybe we'll interact just a little bit in a moment. There's Diane. last Wednesday, as I said, we went over this 4-square version of a strategic attraction plan. Sometimes if you're doing an attraction plan for the first time, you may want to write more in your plan. But let me just tell you what the attraction plan is all about. If you've never done one, or if you haven't read either one of my books, I brought them with me today. This was the first book that got everything started. It's called Attracting Perfect Customers, The Power of Strategic Synchronicity. And I know I've had numerous emails from people that knew I was doing this today, that they were glad to hear from me, that they've been, following my work since this book came out in the year 2001. And the business was started just shortly before that in 2000. And what I want to point to about this book that I want to invite you to be awake and aware and watch for after attending today's call is the subtitle, The Power of Strategic Synchronicity. And what that big, long word, strategic synchronicity, means is that when I discovered that when I did my strategy, my strategic attraction plan, I started having these out of the blue experiences, the synchronistic things that you just weren't expecting. So like I would create an attraction plan, and next thing I know, I'd have an email, or I would bump into somebody at the grocery store, or I would have somebody call me or text me and say that they had a referral for me. And what I know to be true is that a strategic plan is helpful in helping me get clear and focused on what's perfect for me and what I want. And so that's what a strategic plan is about, that we're referring to here in this book, and also the second book that I wrote together with Alan, which we call Being Attraction. And the focus for this book was to add on to what the first book started, but really emphasize how important it is to be what it is you want to attract. And that was the thing that I discovered after years and years of working with people, that if the being wasn't a match for my goal, then it's probably not going to happen. More than often than not, the being is a match for what I don't want. And that's what keeps magnetizing the thing to me that I don't want. So if I don't want enough, or if I don't feel like I have enough customers, I'm being that I don't have enough customers. So that's very simple logic, you could say, but we're going to focus on a little bit of that today as well. Hey, there's Martina. Welcome. All right. All right, so as people are continuing to gather, I'm going to do a quick review of a strategic attraction plan. Let's see, we've got a little chat here. Oh, good. It's from Joan. She says what she wants to get out of today, or what got her here, is staying on track and focused is an ongoing process. Yes, Joan, for sure. That is. For me too. I mean, we all get dazzled by so many things. So I'm giving you lots and lots of ways to stay focused, and this is the best one that I've found so far. All right, it's called a strategic attraction plan, and I'm not going to elaborate on it because there's a whole video, lots of videos out there on this. But if you'll go to the Facebook group called SACAT Live, some of you have been joining just since Monday. We've got about 20 people signed up already. It's an open public group. I'll be posting lots and lots of beneficial tools for expanding your business, and you'll be able to see our call that we did on Wednesday. Let's see, I got a chat here before I do that real quick. Tony, how do we download your book? Do we need a Kindle or other high-tech stuff to get it? How you download the book is I give you a link, and the download link was in the reminder, so I'll just check on that to be sure. It's been in a couple of the emails, and I will continue, but I will post that in the SACAT Live, the download link. So I'll make a note about that, and I'll also post it in the chat today, so while people are working. All right, so consider today your play day. And let's see, Diane and Martina, since I can see you, I can pick on you. Would you like to share what got you here today? What attracted you? Let's see, I have to unmute both.
Okay,
There
I'm unmuted, thanks. I'm participating in the mastery program, and I feel like every time I talk to people and hear about the strategic attraction plan, it strengthens it for me. So I thought it was a great opportunity and I didn't want to miss it.
Good. Exactly true. I mean, this is it. The majority of people that I attract to these calls are solopreneurs, right? We work by ourselves, or maybe we just have one other associate or a business partner. But for the most part, we have to be self-motivating, and this is a really, really great way to keep yourself surrounded by a good tribe of people that are going to keep your best interests at heart. So I'm glad you're here, Diane. And let's see, Martina, I unmuted you.
Oh, great. Just getting ready to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got back from a 2-week intensive, and just listening to other people and what was going on with their businesses and their lives. Just doing this strategic attraction plan just solidified why I'm doing this. And then wanting to come back because I was 2 weeks of play work.
Lots of play. Yes.
It was play work, but yeah, no, just wanting to get this off the ground. And so it was kind of a long time between doing the our process and then a client. So I had to follow up today. And since I worked with her, she was in the, she didn't know if she wanted to pursue her career doing what she was doing or start something new. And I said, well, let's stay with what you have now because you know this. And then what will happen is that it will either strengthen or you'll fall away and you'll go to what you wanted to do. And she ended up gathering 2 more people. She became a mentor for someone else, and then someone became a mentor for her business. And now she's added more tools to her business and has grown. And she just wanted to say thank you for introducing her to the strategic attraction plan because it just helped her business blossom. So that was like a yay.
Yeah, it pays it for it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was really cool.
Yeah.
That was very cool. So yeah.
Well, before the call is over, I will promise you I'll post the download for a link for the book in the chat, and then I will also post how you can go to the SACAT Live Facebook group and add yourself as a member. And then my promise to you is that you'll get all the recordings there and helpful tips. I don't know how I'm going to use it all yet, but that's the gist of it. All right. So how I harness the law of attraction in business is that I realized that there was an innate part of me that law of attraction speaks to. It is a universal truth, and the universal truth is simply like attracts like. And when I first started Perfect Customers, I have been doing a strategy that became known as strategic attraction planning, and it applied the principle that if I like something, my perfect customers are going to like it too. And so the strategy was designed to help me get in touch with what I like so that I could attract more of that to me. And I started using it with myself and my first business partner. We just mostly did it with each other, but then we started opening it up to workshops. And just, it was back in the day, I mean, the good old day before really internet took off. I didn't have a website, didn't have a business card. I just had a place to give a workshop, and people started to come by word of mouth and referral. And that's really what happens is that even though it's wonderful to have all the branding, have all the cards, have the accoutrements that go with it, maybe the brochure or however you market your business, it's wonderful to have all of that. And you can still have business and not have any of that. I am here to tell you, I didn't really even have a business card for many, many years because I couldn't even decide what I was going to call my business until the year 2000, and Stacy and I decided to come together as one person because we were writing the book together. Not one person, but as one company. Anyway, strategic attraction is a 5-step process that I teach in the SACAT program. And the SACAT stands for Strategic Attraction Coaching and Training. And so many people liked this process that came through the trainings or read the books, etc., or did a teleclass or something involved with perfect customers over the years. And they started to ask me to certify them. And so that now I do have a certification program. Most of my attention of training goes there. I don't do a lot of private workshops because most of the people that I train do a lot of that wherever they live. But I do like to get people into the SACAT program that are interested in taking a deep dive into their own inner world, because that's what makes your business successful. Is that it's great to have a business card, it's great to have a website, but that isn't who people do business with. They don't do business with you because of that. They do business with you because they like you. And so it makes sense to find out, if like attracts like, how can I get more people that I like and like what I offer? And this is the plan to do that. So I know we ran through it real quickly, and I said I wasn't going to do much of it, but I am going to give you the 5 steps right now. So if you want to take out a piece of paper, and you can ask me questions or watch the previous video from Wednesday to get more detail. But step number 1 of the strategic attraction plan is, before you even answer step number 1, is to know what kind of relationship do you want to attract. So this relationship, this plan is to attract a relationship. Law of attraction, many of the books are about attracting a thing. You know, this is to attract a specific person that's going to help you get what you want. In our case, we're focusing on the business. So in your business, you have many kind of relationships. You have customers or clients, and those could be subcategories of, like, for example, I have corporate clients, I have entrepreneurial clients, I have people that I speak to, so I have speaking audiences that I talk to. I also have people that invite me to speak. I have people that attend and participate in the SACAT, so that's a SACAT client. Those are different categories. And so this is where we start to get the clarity, right? Maybe you were thinking, oh, I don't have enough customers or clients. And maybe the thought before that is, oh, what kind of perfect customer would I like to have? And so that's really what I'd like you to do, is think of one kind of relationship. It could even be a romantic relationship. I'm telling you, this plan works wonders in that department too. But we're focused on business today. But sometimes a romantic partnership could be the exact relationship you need to help your business. I know I always work well when I have a partner. So think about the kind of relationship that you want, and then take out your pen, your piece of paper, and write down the title of step number 1. And you'll answer this about that relationship. So step number 1 is to describe the qualities, characteristics, and attributes of my perfect customer or client, or whatever you put there. My perfect dinner date, my perfect corporate speaking gig, my perfect business partner. Describe the qualities, characteristics, and attributes of my perfect, and fill in the blank. And you could have multiple plans, but today just stick to one kind of relationship, okay? And I just wanted to point out, if you forget what this plan is all about, it's on the back of this book. So if you have the hard copy, you can see the back. The information is in both books. 5th step is not in the book, but I'll give that to you today. Step number 2, after you work through step number 1, is to take a little deeper dive about that relationship. And so the title of it is to identify what makes me and my perfect customer or client tick, or whatever that relationship is. identify what makes me and my perfect customer tick. And then you'll look at some of the most important things to you. Like for me, in my personal tick, I have one for business as well as for just my general who I am, is what makes me tick is being voice of feminine spirit. And when I came up with that, it helped me to connect the dots of who I am. Now, why is that important? Well, because I thought that business was business and personal was personal, and the two, were separate. Like I'm someone different at home, I'm someone different at business. Did you ever feel that way? Well, you might have been under the misconception that business is not personal. And the relationship that I have with my business clients is the same everywhere. I have friendships. In fact, my customers, at some point, the line dissolves between business and personal, and they just become friends. Like I see Diane, or I see Martina, or Guy. I saw them on the video. I'm like, these are all my friends, but they started out in customer relationships. But because we beat to similar things, that's what makes us tick. And we keep being drawn to each other over a period of time. Like I've known Guy Harvey for many, many moons. And I'm getting to know Diane now and Martina, and we'll probably know each other for many years to come. So that's what step number 2 is. Identify what makes me and my perfect customer or client tick, or whatever relationship you want to attract. Step number 3, specify what I want my perfect customer to expect of me. So I'll say it again, specify what I want my perfect customer to expect of me. And this particular part of the plan is where I get to be responsible for everything I attract. And I give up my right to complain about not having what I want. So step number 3 is not only a deep dive, it's a deeper dive. Because what will happen when I really work with step number 3 is I will start to surface things that need to be healed. I was reading a wonderful email earlier today. I was so happy to read that there's another guy, I believe his name is Maston Kip. I followed his book recently about purpose. And since the step number 2 is about purpose, I love to read other people's, what they're saying about it. But step number 3, and what he was also referring to, is that until you really heal some of your past traumas, you'll continue to have a broken record about certain things, and you'll wonder, why does that keep happening to me again and again? And there's a great chapter in the Being Attraction book about this. That's why I put it in that book. It doesn't resolve everything for you, but it will bring to the surface the thing that you need to focus on, that when you clear the slate, it frees up the energy to start bringing you who you're supposed to be working with. And so this is a very powerful plan, but it also can be a healing plan. And many people, I don't advertise it this way, but I heard from someone recently who quit smoking using the strategic attraction plan. And the relationship that they used to attract was their perfect non-smoking self. So, people are very creative with this plan, and I highly encourage creativity. So go with whatever feels right for you. So step number 3 is specify what I want my perfect customer to expect of me. And so that's a very important part of the plan. In fact, every step is. So the 4th step, this is the last step that's in each of the books, and then I'll give you the secret step. The 4th step is to declare, like I'm making a declaration, declare who I get to be, or who I create myself to be, to attract everything I say I want. Did you know that you had an option to create your being every day? Now, the step number 2, identifying what makes us tick, is related to purpose, passion, that sort of thing. It's the thing that's consistent about you throughout your whole life. And then step number 4 is the place that is something of who you could be every moment. Like before I got on the call today, I was being somebody different than I'm being right now. Right now I'm being my very best Zoom-i-nar facilitator. I'm being my best SACAT. I'm being a savvy marketer. And you can create your being. Even though this is the fourth step in the plan, sometimes I think it needs to be the first. But you've got to clear out some of the way for your being to make space to really come through. Being, and I took a whole number of years of courses at Landmark Education, taught me about the power of being, and I really loved it. That when I walk into a room, what people see is who I'm being. Or when I step onto a Zoom-i-nar, who they see is who I'm being. So it makes sense that before I walk out of my house or before I hop in front of a video cam, I would create who I'm being. And so every moment you have an opportunity, if you're not really thrilled with who you're being right now, you can shift it. And that's what I call shifting your being. And so that's step number 4. I'm going to open the lines, just see if anybody wants to ask a question. All right. We're all unmuted, so if you need to mute out your own background, go ahead and do that. But if you'd like to ask a question or a comment, please do so now.
Dan, it's Diane.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that this hasn't occurred to me before, but when you were talking about step 4 and declaring who I get to be.
Yes.
Have you ever been in a situation where what you need to be for your customer isn't necessarily what you want to be? I mean,
well, let me ask you, have you ever had to be somebody for your customer that's not really who you want to be? Have you ever had that?
Yeah, I did. This was years ago, but I worked for a national healthcare consulting company. And our owner was very into dress for success. And we had to wear business suits and those little ties and everything.
Oh, yeah, I had a bunch of those.
Now, I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh.
And I felt like I thought I looked ridiculous. I was uncomfortable. The people at the hospital were like, well, you've got to be the consultant. And I just didn't want to be that. That wasn't who I was, you know? I was much more laid back and casual.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of conflictual for me.
Well, it's a good example, really, of being. Who were you being when you were being somebody that you didn't like?
Sort of phony. Phony. And I felt, like I was standing out, but not necessarily for anything good.
Well, you know, that probably didn't feel very good to you either, did it?
No.
Okay. So that's how it works. I can relate to this because I used to work for years in corporate, which was great. It was perfect for me at the moment. And, but when I had been there for a number of years and I was a VP of sales, that was supposed to be the big deal job for me to get. I was sitting in my box. That's what I call my office. I was sitting in my box one day and I just was doodling, really. I'm like, I'm so uninspired to be at this. And all of a sudden I'm like, I think that I've already fulfilled the purpose that I came here for. I had been there about 4 years and I'd never been a VP of sales, and I wanted to be that, and I got to be that and experience being on the board of directors of a growing company. I got to be that. But I felt like there were so many things going on with me that it was time for me to pay attention to what Jan needed more than what I needed from this company.
Okay.
And since I was starting to have physical ailments as a result of the stress and the extra amount of stress I was under, that's what happens is that when you're in a mismatch career, you're in a job or a position, or you're even a volunteer position that you said yes to that you wish you had said no to, this produces a lot of stress in your own energy field, in your own body, and that's what you're putting out. So if that's what you want to put out all day, I'm overstressed and underloved all day, then go for it. But I just decided there was a better way, and it sounds like you did.
I did too.
Mm-hmm.
I did too, and I think if I was working like with a long-term customer, or there was some being state that was outside of my comfort zone,
Yes.
I would try to address that. If it was a client that knew me and that I felt comfortable with.
Yeah. Well, I would advise anybody, if you're experiencing anything like what we're talking about, to shift your being. If you want to shift, I really shifted my being right out of that job. And I decided, well, I'll tell you this little story.
Two customers talking about a car, and he walks up like, "Hey,
Whoa.
you don't need to go anywhere." I thought to myself, it was just kind of like, you really get people the wrong way.
Gee, I think you're talking, but I'm not sure if you're talking to us.
And he didn't have.
Dee, I wasn't sure if you were talking to us, I muted you because it sounded like you were talking to somebody else. But if you were, please unmute. I'd love to hear from you. All right. Sorry, I hope I didn't cut you off. But anyway, at this company, though, as a VP of sales, I was struggling, I will say. I was stressed out, but I did like my job, and I learned a lot. As a VP of sales, what I learned mostly is that I could run the company better. I would have been a better CEO than a VP of sales probably, but that was hindsight. Anyway, I was at a board of directors meeting, and we were choosing the core value words that would be the paragraph or the list of words that described who our company was. And each of the board of directors was giving a word or two, and we'd write it up on the whiteboard, and then we were going to take a vote. So I volunteered the word spirituality, that I liked having our business be of a spiritual nature. And that could be anything for anybody. I'm not trying to dictate how each person was going to perceive that. But what happened is, for the next 3 hours, the group, about 10 of us, debated each person shared their viewpoint of that word. And it was not going well for the word spirituality to be included, but I gave my best and said, here's why. Anyway, when we did get to voting on the top 10 words, I think it was, and we came to the word spirituality, it was voted out. Like, it didn't make the vote. And I didn't realize I had so much passion and emotion about that, but I burst into tears. I'm not really prone to being emotional in front of people, but in that moment, I just burst into tears, and it kind of surprised me. And I jumped up and I ran to my office, closed the door, and I just sat there and I just bawled. I just put my face in my hands and just shook all over. And what I took away from that experience is that for me to work at a company that's not in alignment with who I am was checking my soul at the door every day. Mm-hmm. And that, that wasn't really a good match for who I say I was. And that was before I started Perfect Customers. But fortunately, I had that experience, and it had me check in with who I need to be in my daily life. And could I be that there? And the answer was probably no, because I left about 6 months later. And I knew that when I started my own company that I wanted a spiritual side of it, even though I'm not going to, you know, stand on a pulpit or anything, but my belief systems are spiritual in nature, and they're also can be very mainstream, but for me, they go in that direction. For somebody else, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right. So anybody else have a comment or a question or something you noticed for yourself? All right. Well, here's the last of the strategic attraction steps, and that's step number 5. And as I said, that's not in the book, but step number 5 is, the title of it is Take Attractive Actions and Avoid Dazzling Distractions. So take attractive actions. And attractive actions are those that are in alignment with who you are. A lot of times I hear people that come through that are considering different programs, for example, and there's a lot of them out there, and some people are taking programs that they think are the solution or the answer to their problem. And that may or may not be true. But what needs to really happen is for me to look inside and ask myself, is this the program for me? Is it a match for what makes me tick? Is it a match for what's perfect next step? Is it a match for my perfect next step? And that's what an attractive action should be, is I ask myself, what's the next most attractive action for me to take? And every time I ask myself in that question in that particular way, it tells me, here's the place to go next. And so that's step number 5, take attractive actions. And when you're taking attractive actions, you'll avoid dazzling distractions. And how do you know if something is dazzling? Well, usually it feels too good to be true, sounds too good to be true, looks too good to be true, and mostly that it doesn't really feel good on the inside of me. Like maybe I angst over it, or I woke up in the middle of the night and, you know, I'm chewing or gnawing on it. Is this right? Or was it the right amount of money for me to spend right now? That sort of thing. And that's what you have to do with everything in your business. Follow what's perfect for you at the perfect time. And if you follow those 2 things, then you're going to be on track with your business. All right. So that is the strategic attraction process. So now here's what I want you to do for today's call. Thank you for let us go through that. I want you to write down what you're winning at. I am winning at. Write down 1, 2, 3 things you're winning at. Right now, I'm winning at Zoom-i-nars. I was wanting to do this. I came up with a plan. I had a strategy. I did my strategic attraction plan that you see here. This is mine. I took some steps and I took some attractive actions, and lo and behold, you're here with me today. So what are you winning at? And then underneath it, what are you not winning at? I am not winning at something. I'm not winning at getting enough customers. I'm not winning at marketing my business the way I would like to. I'm not winning at following up once I meet somebody. What is it that you're not winning at? So let's hear from you guys. We've got a number of people here, and if you wouldn't mind sharing, you just unmute yourself. I'd love to hear. Anybody, the floor is open.
Hi, Jan.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm winning at Twitter.
Good. How do you win at Twitter? I need to know this.
I spent a lot of. I fell into it by a little. I mean, I knew a few strategies, but I fell into it a little bit by luck. I'm kind of on. I'm in a niche in Twitter called spiritual Twitter, and I interact. There's sort of some influencers on there, not famous people, but people have a lot of following. And I just interacted with them, and they followed me, and it just sort of. And those people, they don't follow many people. They might have 5, 6,000, 10,000, 15,000 followers, but they only follow about 50 people. And from interacting with them, they kind of, they followed me back, which was like saying, okay, you're a peer, you're on the same level as us, which was kind of a cool thing. And it kind of took off from that. So
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, I write original stuff, and I'm authentic and engage with people. I spend quite a bit of time on it. So it's going pretty good. I'm also winning. I've only done one so far, but I did something called Soul Family Chat on Zoom.
Okay.
For my Twitter people. And I had a guest on, and it was talking about awakening, and we did some guided meditation. And I'm doing another one in a couple of weeks, and I'm winning at my own website. I'm kind of really happy with the way that's going along, and I'm not winning at getting clients to pay. I actually got one this week. I got my first kind of person that came from Twitter that ordered a session off my website.
Okay.
I've given away a lot of sessions on Twitter, so I was winning at that, but not winning at getting them to pay. So.
Okay. All right. So who would you have to be to get a paying client?
I think a lot of it is I have to really believe in the value of what I'm doing.
Yes.
Well, I'm still kind of even experimenting with what is the service. I can do healing, I can do guidance, and I've done both, and now I'm doing kind of a combo. And so that's still evolving. So I guess, I mean, I think a lot is really believing in the value that I'm giving. It's really transforming people.
Just think about that word, believe. Who would you have to be to believe in yourself? I don't know. I just saw a little correlation there.
Be a believer.
Be a believer in my own work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who I would be being is, how about stepping into being that of a healer and a spiritual counselor? How did you say that in the beginning? Something like that. That's what I remember. You just have to step into the being. You're already it. You don't need to prove yourself anymore. You just need to step into the being of it.
Yeah, I have to say I have a resistance to saying the words. For example, I am a healer. You know, there's so much kind of in society and about that, and
yeah. Well, I've got people wanting to know. Just, you know, I know you have a problem with being that. We're going to see you that way anyway. What would you like to be known as? If it's not healer, what would you like to be known as?
I have to think about that.
Okay, think about that, because that's another way of creating your being is when you walk into a room, who would you like to be seen as? Or who, if you're on a, what did you call it, the Soul Family Chat,
Yeah.
Who would you like to be known as? That's another way to create who you're being. And also, if you had put in the chat when your next event is, we've got people wanting to know how to learn more about you.
Okay, great. Okay. Thanks.
Let's see, Diane, your hand was raised. Would you like to say something?
I wanted to just talk a little bit about some of my wins.
Okay. What you're winning at? Okay.
I got a new person to work with my company who has 25 years in higher education, and he's managed programs. He just completed his PhD, and he is going to help me attract college and universities as consulting clients.
Okay.
And we met this week to go over my website and narrow it and be much more precise according to your recommendations, Jan,
Okay.
about what I do. And he's going to a Deans and Directors National Conference with me in November.
Okay.
So that's great. So I think that's a win.
You think?
Yeah,
Let's
that's
just say it
a win.
is. Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of my, well, he's young enough to be my son, but he sort of makes my heart go pitter patter.
All right, we like it. We like it.
Yeah, that's nice.
So you're winning at attracting handsome young men to.
Yeah, handsome young men to help me.
Okay.
Who will attract, believe me, they'll attract nurses and academic directors.
Yes.
So
There you
I'm
go.
looking forward to that.
All right. What are you not winning at?
I'm not winning at, I'm not winning at getting people to sign up for my programs for nurses. And I've actually decided intentionally to put those on hold for at least the rest of this year and the first quarter of next year, so that I can focus on the consulting clients.
Okay. So how is that you're not winning?
Well, I wasn't attracting paying people to come to my workshop for nurse managers and nurse educators.
Okay.
So I'm going to put that on hold and focus on getting consulting clients.
Okay. Paying consulting clients. So what I hear, what you said, is where you're not winning right now is in attracting paying clients for that program, but what you would like to attract would be paying clients, right?
Right.
So who are you being right now about paying clients? Are you being that you
I'm
can
being an
attract them, or you
expert.
can't?
I'm being Dr. Diane Martin, the expert in nursing education.
Okay. And are you being someone who attracts paying clients?
Yes.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Here's the second part of this little exercise. All right. So you're starting to get in touch with where you're working. Let's work with where you're not winning. And let's see. Tony's got a. Oh, okay. Definitely, Diane, read the chat. Tony's got something great for you. A great idea.
Right.
All right. So look at your list of where you're not winning for a moment. You know, let's just use this example. All of us could use more paying clients, and everybody could use more paying clients, I think. I would make a safe assumption that that's going around. So probably on a different piece of paper, just write down everything why you're not. Just write down why you're not. I don't care if it's edited or right, or you're being, you know, positive or Pollyanna. I don't care. Just write down, in your opinion, why you are not attracting perfect customers right now. Perfect paying customers. And write down a couple, at least 3, 4, maybe 5. And then I need a volunteer to work with me on this so I can kind of use it as an example. Any willing volunteers in the audience today? Could change your life. You never know. Well, Diane, you were willing to work with me a minute ago. You want to work with me, or was somebody getting ready to volunteer? Okay. Who was it? I thought I heard somebody, but I'll work with you next, but I'll work with you, Diane, if you're willing.
Sure, I'm more than happy to.
Oh, there's Joan. Okay, there you are. Hi, Joan.
Sure.
Hi, I've been trying to get on here.
Okay, did you want to volunteer, or are you just trying to get your video to work?
No, I would volunteer if somebody else hasn't beat me to it.
Okay, well,
No, you volunteer.
all right, Joan, why don't you go ahead and I can work with Diane later. But so in the list of why you're not winning, tell us what you weren't winning at first, if you don't mind.
I don't. I am not winning at, so I am still a hobby. So I've been working at this since January. I'm a health coach. So I'm not winning at getting known for what I do and getting paid clients, and not winning at staying focused on doing my daily work. So it's kind of a part-time business. I don't work, all the time at it. So one of my challenges is getting paying clients.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Now,
and I think it's partly, having confidence and figuring out, who I am and how I say who I am in the world, like what my message is. So I'm working on that. I don't have people who are a big support system who are willing to, like, if I let my friends and family know that I'm doing a program, which happened a couple weeks ago, I'm doing a free webinar, and would you just let people know, let your friends know? Well, that doesn't happen. So it was very poorly attended, and I actually canceled the follow-up program that I was going to have that was going to be my big launch.
right.
So,
All right, well, that's good. Let's pause. We've got enough to work with right there. Okay.
Great.
All right. And I know there's probably many people on today, or people that are listening, that can relate to what you're saying. I know. So we all understand and relate to what you're saying at one time or another. So when you look at your list of why you're not attracting paying clients, what jumps off the page? Which one jumps off the page first?
Everybody wants to be healthy, but they don't want to get healthy.
That's why you're not getting paying clients? Now, why are you not getting clients?
Why am I not?
People.
Well, so part of that is attracting people to what I'm doing.
Okay, so why are you not attracting people to what you're doing? Why are you not winning at that? What do you say to yourself?
I'm not connecting to enough people.
Okay.
Who are open to hearing my message.
Okay, I'm not connecting to enough people that want to hear my message. All right? So write that down if you didn't already. Now, you're not alone in this. Everybody's got their version of that, right? Everybody's got their version, okay? I want you to do the same to your list as Joan did. Pick out just one of the things that is your reason why. Thania says yes, she's on the chat. Okay, thank you. All right, so that particular one thing is what we call a blinder. A blinder is just what it says. I usually have a blinder. I should have my prop with me, but if you put your hands over your eyes, this is what it looks like for you to be able to see potential new clients, because you have this blinder on called that I don't connect with enough people. All right? Or your blinder could be X, Y, and Z. I had a blinder when I moved to Santa Fe. I had been living in Houston my whole life, basically. And I moved to Santa Fe. I didn't know anybody here. And I had a blinder called, well, part of it was called arrogance, but the other part of it is that I don't do local marketing. I had a blinder that says, you know, I do internet. I don't do local marketing. So when I would go out and meet and greet with people, or in this one example, I was going to a potluck dinner, and since I don't do local marketing, I don't take my business cards. I don't talk to people about my work. I don't tell them who I am. Nobody even knows who I am in Santa Fe at this particular time, because they're not going to hear it from me because I don't do local marketing. Blinder, blinder. So I went to this particular event, and I was standing there visiting with a lady, and she said, well, what do you do, Jan? And I kind of like, well, I'm a business coach. And she started asking me another question. Well, what kind of business coach? And she just kept asking all these questions, like she's pulling out of me what I do. Well, I do some speaking. Well, what kind of speaking? What do you talk about? Well, I've written 2 books. You've written 2 books. What's the name of your books? So it's like I'm over here holding back. And she, at the end of the conversation, she scheduled an appointment with me. She says, I've been looking for a business coach, and I like what you talk about, and I'd like to have an appointment. So we set that up, and I'm driving home that night. And I go, oh my goodness, how many more people are out there like that? Just waiting for me to tell them about my business, that would like to have a coach, or they'd like to have a training, or like to have a SAP like we just did, or be on the Facebook group. I mean, how many more were out there? And so my blinder that I removed that night was, I'm not winning at local marketing. My blinder is, I am no longer arrogant about local marketing. Take that blinder off. I am now the savvy marketer in Santa Fe. Marketing, and I started marketing like crazy to people. And, not like I'm a pest, but I started attending functions. That's what I mean, going like crazy. And I didn't even do that before then. So, Joan, you have a blinder. That's all this is. What is your blinder? What did you hear your blinder is about this?
Well, that it's too hard to connect with people.
Yeah. And here you are on a Zoom video being broadcast in front of millions of people. Oh, you didn't know that? And here you are on the hot seat. Does anybody she's hard to connect with? Anybody on here? No, I don't think anybody here thinks that. I think you're the only one. How about removing that blinder? Mm-hmm. All right, so everybody just take that blinder off. Take it off. So underneath that blinder, what could you now say your being is? Just for fun.
The people who are the right clients for me will show up.
Yes. Yes. My perfect customers find me. They seek me out. I just have to make myself available. Now, if you're like me, when I was in Santa Fe, I had a cloak of invisibility. I had a cloak of invisibility that I walked into a networking function. I wore it all the time. I'd stand over by the food or disappear early. Anybody relate to that? Okay. So take your blinder off, take your cloak of invisibility, and let your light shine. And you can read either one of my books. I've got this beautiful lighthouse example in either one of the books.
Done it.
Just be the lighthouse. I 2 weeks ago was speaking at the eWomen Network in Austin, Texas. I haven't spoken in a couple of years. When Alan got sick right around the end of 2015, Christmas, and it just, my bandwidth was this big, you know, to do a speaking engagement was way too much for me. But one lady that had been asking me to speak, who I've known for years, but she kept asking me to speak. She was the coordinator for this group. And I went, and finally, after all the rescheduling, etc., she waited for me, and I went and I spoke, and I had a really warm reception. I mean, it was a great reception from people. But I sat down at my table right after that, and what kicks in, do you think? The bully, the inner bully, that bully chatter that says, that was stupid, you shouldn't have said that, blah, blah, blah. And what I did, I mean, I'm over here at my table acting nonchalant, and I have all this going on in my head. Stupid, shouldn't have said that. And I went, no, bully. I am putting my own message out there for me right now. I am attracting the perfect people to come to me. And if they want to speak to me, they'll be drawn to me after this is over. And I'll just stand here and be ready and available to speak with people that are meant to speak with me. And so I just let my light out. I put my best intentions forward, and I had people coming up, loved it, loved it, loved it. People that didn't come up went on home, you know, and it was the perfect people that I wanted to speak with. And that's all there is, Joan. Can you do that?
Yes.
Yes. What could you do differently next time? Or today even?
I think just changing my thinking that that nobody's interested in what I have to say or what I offer, and just saying the right people haven't come yet, and they're coming.
Yes, they're on the way.
They're on the way, and they'll be coming. They'll show up when the time is right.
Right. We've got about 14 people on the Zoom-i-nar. I sent out 3,000 emails about today and Wednesday. I had about 10 people on Wednesday. Looks like about 13, 14 people here today. And I put out 3,000 emails. Okay. Does that make me cry at the end of a call? No, because the perfect people are here. But you do have to do some sending out your light. You can't just stay in your cubby hole and not let your light shine. You've got to get out there in some way, whether it's local marketing, going to networking groups, doing something on Facebook. Facebook and social media terrified me for the longest time. I wouldn't even post anything personal. I only posted in my groups. But I did a Facebook Live call on Monday, my first one. So I didn't disintegrate as a result of it, so more than likely you won't either. But we've got lots and lots of venues now that we didn't used to have. And I say what the being is I am a savvy marketer, and I love technology. I mean, I may not be the best technology person, but I can open my field for attracting people who are. And I have some of the best technology people that I attracted that allow me to do the work that I do. And then I just, I do what I love to do. And that's all there is. So good job, Joan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you notice anything different just in shifting in the conversation?
Yes, a shift to more positive, you know, which I go in and out of, you know, it wanes, depends on the day. Yeah, well, and it's a process, you know, it's a process.
Moment to moment. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, I share my story about speaking and having my own inner bully trying to do damage on my speaking. You know, like I was there. I was fully there. People loved what I had to say, but my own inner bully was doing a lot of damage, and you have to stop that. You wouldn't allow somebody to stand in your living room and bully you And so our inner bully needs to be stopped as well.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Yeah. Somebody else? Anybody?
Jan,
Yes.
this is Tony.
Hey, Tony.
One suggestion, I have a friend of mine, he needs a hip replacement. He's limping very badly, but his surgeon has told him he refuses to operate on him because it's too unsafe until he loses at least 30 pounds. Both hip surgeons who do both hip and knee replacement have the same problem with a lot of patients. If Joan can go to those people, typically they just go out and tell them, here, go lose weight, but they don't give them any background, any help, or even send them to a nutritionist. Those are, I think, would be ideal people. They're motivated, they're in excruciating pain from having that joint needing to be replaced, but then they need, they'll send you people because they get them all the time. Remember, you have over 10,000 people a day turning 65, according to the Medicare stats. And there you have you have a market. I don't know where she lives, but if you're close to any kind of major metropolitan area, there are going to be several surgeons doing that.
Yeah. Great. Thank you, Tony. Thank you for that. Zania, you want to say anything about your group chat comments? You don't have to. I just thought it was great. She had an aha from something I just said. She says, do you want to say it? I'll read it if you want. All right, she may not be in a place to chat, but she got an idea. She hadn't put a workshop together because only a few people had been attending and she was feeling discouraged. And when I said I sent 3,000 emails and you're happy with results, thank you, she says. I've been so scared to have 3 or some participants that I'd rather do nothing. And so that's how she was listening to her inner bully. All right. So this is the message for today is when you have your strategic attraction plan in front of you, and when you do your plan, the plan that I gave you today, and you can listen to the last video and get more detail about it. When you have your plan and you act and you align with it every day by adding something additional to it, you're going to start shifting your being and you're going to have more fun with your business. But it does take attractive actions. And attractive actions mean I have to take my blinder off. I have to go do that local marketing. But I make it fun. And that should be a whole class that I teach, how I make networking fun. Maybe I'll do that one next. But the attractive action that I would say that each one of us need to do is to create your attraction plan and then take an action. Once you have your attraction plan, you are in an energy space to take an action. And before then, who you're being is all your list of where you're not winning. And so do your attraction work first, your strategic attraction work first, then take an action and you're going to have a better result. But if you're not having any results, it's because you're taking your actions from an old way of being that's not serving you. And so that's really the bigger message for today is you've got to shift your being to be someone that you want to be seen as, be known as, and then start taking actions from there. So that's my value-added class today. I'm going to be doing another one on Wednesday. Guy is adding his chat with information there. And are you a member? I don't know, Guy, if you're in the SACAT Live group, but if you would post there, get some other people to know where you are as well. You could do that. And I will post in the SACAT Live group. I said I'd do it here, so I'll do that in just a minute. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about the SACAT program, and if you're interested, all you have to do is send me an email or a text and let me know you're interested. And I'm going to invite you to a special group call. Not everybody here may be interested. Well, that was a blinder. Take that off. All right, everybody here should be attending the next call because you're interested in the SACAT program. I'm going to do a Q&A just about SACAT next Thursday. So that's the 11th, I believe, and I'll send out another email about it. But if you're especially interested to know more, that would be a good one to come to. The SACAT is starting the 17th, and many of you have been in it. If you've already gone through the program, you can attend as a reviewer. If you're interested in attending for the first time, I make it so financially viable. I mean, it's a very low budget program, but it's a high return program. And if you are working this strategic attraction certification training along with the other work that you're doing, you're going to enhance it, because there's a group energy that gets created that if you are trying to do things at home alone, you know, they say on TV, don't try this at home alone. If you're trying to do your business at home alone, you're probably not being as successful as you would be if you were interacting with a group of people that are all on the same path. They're entrepreneurs, they want to make a difference, and they are committed to taking attractive actions. So that next call will be on Thursday the 11th at the same time as today. So watch for your email about that. And I see a couple of people writing that they're interested. So the SACAT program, I'm just going to give you a little blurb of it, is 12 weeks. It's once a week, and we do a 90-minute call, and we go through the strategic attraction plan. I gave you the whole plan today. Now, what makes the SACAT so juicy, let's say, is that it's going to really take you to your heart and soul of who you are in your business. And that's what's going to make your business clientele start to flow better, because you're going to be more in touch with who you are. And people do business with people. I don't care if you've got the best website in town, and I know many website designers, and I've got a great website. It's not about that. It's about really understanding who you are that draws people. Your light is what people are drawn to. And when you think about yourself in those terms, that the brighter your light will shine is how clear you are about what you're all about. And so those blinders start to come off more frequently. I mean, I got that client, but I also, that one client at that potluck that booked an appointment with me, when I took my blinder off, I had so many clients around me that it was embarrassing almost that I had spent so much time in Santa Fe and not interacted with anybody here. So your whole business can turn around quickly, and the 12 weeks will go by quickly, but you'll get in touch with something, I promise you, that you've never been in touch with before. And the reason I know that to be true is that that's the nature of this program. It's transformational. That's my gift that I share with people when they come through the program. And you'll get that too, something better than you even imagined. So I'm going to let anybody ask questions that might have one. Or if you've been in the SACAT program already, if you'd like to share anything of value that you got, maybe somebody here would like to hear about it. Let me find my thing to put in here then. All right, Guy, got a question? Sure, question or answer.
So it's important to work on it every day, because I've done attraction plans before, and then I go back later and say, this didn't really work. And is it important, the daily attention?
Well, here's what's important. You.
Mm-hmm.
You put you back on the shelf.
Yeah.
The attraction plan is you. And is it important to look at you every day? Yeah. More than likely, your muscle needs a little exercise in making you a priority. And that's what the SACAT does. That's what the SAP does. And if it wasn't working for you before, it's the same thing as what you wrote on your blinder is it's hard for you to get who you really are.
Yeah.
So you definitely, Guy, ought to come back and do the SACAT program again. I think you'll get a lot of value out of it. One of the things that we forget is who we are. We need people to remind us. I shared this on Wednesday about soul friends, that we can't see our own Anam Cara, which is Celtic wisdom for soul friend. We need other soul friends to reflect that to us. And that's one of the best things about SACAT, is that it's a place to get you reflected back to you through the other people.
Yeah, I actually had an interesting experience with that recently. I took a break from Twitter for a couple of weeks. I needed a break from it. And when I came back, I found out a lot more about how people saw me. A lot of people said some really, really nice things about, how they miss me and I was an important part of the community here and so forth. So that happened by accident as well. But, I'm just like, oh, wow, who are they talking about here? So.
Yeah. Who were they talking about? Oh, that was me. That's great. Yeah.
Thanks, Jen. Yeah, this was great. Thank you.
Yeah. Somebody else, questions, comments? I just put the Facebook group up there. I'm going to get the download link for the book up there too. But I can answer questions while we're doing it. Who else has a question or a comment? What did you notice out of being here today? Anybody? Come on. All right. Well, we're going to close for today. Thank you for being here. I'm not putting my finger right on my download link. I'm sorry to take time to do this. Let's see. Oh, I have a million different links. Okay, I think here it is. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, I put the link for the Facebook group up there. If you would join Facebook, the SACAT Live group, I will post how to download the copy of the book there. And I apologize. And I'm going to put it in some emails as well. So you can watch for your emails or you can go on the Facebook group. So, all right. Thank you for being here. I hope that something that I said today was valuable for you and that you'll carry it forward into your day. I hope that you receive some kind of a energy vibration expansion. And what I want to warn you is that when you come to these kind of calls, you're the most attractive that you've been all day because there's a lot of energy. And so reinvest that energy in something that's going to move your business forward. In other words, don't go eat a bowl of ice cream. Don't go buy a burger and French fries and drown yourself in a bunch of food. Not that I was thinking of that, but just as an example. All right, so you can have ice cream, but not the burger. Okay. Do something while you're eating your burger and your ice cream that moves your business forward. All right? Capitalize, reinvest this energy somewhere. Take an action, make a phone call, do something you've been putting off. I've had some of the best miracles happen on a Friday afternoon when I thought nobody else is working today. I scored one of my largest sales because I said, it's Friday afternoon. I haven't scored big all week. I'm just going to make one phone call and then I'll call it a week. And I scored one of my biggest clients that day out of that little intention. So I'll pass it on to you to take action and watch for the emails. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll stay on for a few minutes. I'm going to stop the recording now, but I'll stay on if you have a question. I'd be happy to answer it. All right. Bye for now.